I am completely unprepared tonight. At 45 minutes ago, I got a knock at my door, D.D. Delaney, and he's like, open mic. And I was like, okay. So I'm not prepared with anything Halloween. I have something scary, though. First, who wants a free journal?
Me.
They always go.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate you.
And I wanted to tell you all, here's my one claim to fame. I got invited to the Dr. Madblood. Every year he does a horror movie on WHRO.
Yeah.
It's going to be shown, I think, in a couple days.
Saturday.
But it's called Count Dracula and His Vampire Bride. I'm promised that it's a horrible movie. But he like films like people in costume. It's like we're having a Halloween party, and I got invited, and I had a beret. I wore a beret, and I got covered in blood on my face, and I had like a cloak, and I had. You can scream if you want. So, if you don't blink, you might spot me in the party sequence there. Here's my scary thing. I guess this is scary. It should be. This is something new, but I didn't write it. Is it wrong to steal? Only if you get caught. Okay. I guess I don't know whether this is really a Halloween feel, but this is called Your Results May Vary. This is a dramatization. Results may vary. Abilify is not for everyone. You may have an increased risk for death or stroke. Call your doctor if your depression worsens or you have changes in behavior or thoughts of suicide. Elderly patients have increased risk of death or stroke, uncontrolled muscle movements, high blood sugar, increased cholesterol, weight gain, coma or death, seizures, dizziness and standing, decrease in white blood cells, impaired judgment, suicide. Use caution before driving or operating heavy machinery. Restrictions apply. Ages vary in some states. Serious side effects include low calcium levels, serious infections, and eczema. Guaranteed acceptance in most states. Call for free information. Limitations and exclusions apply. Are you one of the 150 million people who suffer from headaches, tension, stress, hormonal sinus, migraine? Doctor, develop patented breakthrough formula, compensated torture, endorse or always wear eye and body protection, but we're not done yet. Factors such as high blood cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease results may vary. If you can't afford your medication, you're screwed. Simulation only. Just pay separate postage and handling. Not for women with risk factors for fracture. When you are injured and seconds count, Life Alert is there for you. I've fallen and I can't get up, but Life Alert saves a life with catastrophe every 11 minutes. Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today. My husband is alive because of Life Alert. These statements have not been verified by the FDA. Symbicort is for COPD. It may increase your risk of lung infection, osteoporosis, and lung disease. Your results may vary. Do you have a problem talking too fast? Don't look at me. I can't help you. Not available in stores. I really don't have it. Thank you. I'll kill you last. Werewolf haiku number 2. Every 30 days, I have the same damn problem. Out of flea powder. Twilight haiku. Twilight's fucking lame. Edward's a bitch-ass vampire. Someone should stake him.
Put your hands together for Wizard Screecher.
Good evening. Actually, I can't see. I guess I'll start.
Darwin likes you.
So, I don't really have. I have these words I wrote down, and I'm not sure if they're scary. I think they're interesting. And, yeah. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to say that, this is me writing about a dream I had. Yeah. Everything is like a movie. My eyes are a camera. Colors are more vivid. Writing is fucking hard. The letters dance on the page. Everything is right now. The space in that would end, whatever. All that makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Not sure what I'm supposed to be writing, but I like it. This isn't even my handwriting. It just makes sense. I want to write down. There's so much I want to write down, but I don't know how or when. I'm writing down my thoughts, but as a poem. I want it to make sense to my future self, but he already understands more than I think. Don't be afraid to leave your thoughts unfinished. Mab and Letitia have made this much more. You don't have to write down all of your thoughts. I look like I'm just writing down in this notebook next to two beautiful drunken goddesses taking a nap with a dog. Stockley sounds seem to creep up. I'm still unsure of who or what. Don't erase. I'm just reading everything I wrote down. Don't be afraid to forget. I'm so glad to be around people who we belong to the sky. Time. Also connect your charger. I want to capture everything that I feel it already is, which is guitar. We're going to stick, it doesn't matter. You have to shut up. But this journey is far from over. The color red. You can't turn down hugs or water. It's a metaphor. Pizza rolls and donuts on a breakfast plate for your birthday. It looks like a smiley face. Read this. Cave cake paintings. In Norfolk, Southwest airplanes don't. Do what you want and speak what you feel. The best part of this is that everyone thinks that this is a costume. A pharaoh in a lion's mask reading poetry on bathroom tiles. Welcome in peace. Welcome in peace. Dancing. Each word is a story of its own. I think what I'm afraid of most is to admit whatever it is that I'm most afraid of.
It's getting my music ready. Two more Halloween haikus. Zombie survival haiku number 1. You're too early, stop. Zombie survival haiku number 1. Damn, he's been bitten. I know what I must do now. Better him than me. Zombie survival haiku number 2. Board up the windows. Use slow people as decoys. Wear comfortable shoes. This is my ghost story song. It's called The Ghost of Studio B. It's a true story about a haunted studio that I recorded in once. It was scary as shit, guys. Think Scooby-Doo when you're listening. So once upon a time not long ago, I got a phone call from a studio. It was 10 a.m. I was sawing wood. I answered the phone like, damn it, man, this better be good. A creepy little voice said, what's up, Dead Fred? This is what he said. He said,
listen, Maestro, I've got some good-ass tracks. I think you really like them if you give them a chance.
I said, all right. Get in there as a breeze. Grabbed a couple notebooks, then I hopped in the V. Raised a blunt up, soaked the sun up in the warm Virginia summer, bumping Slick Rick, KRS-One, and Stevie Wonder. Got to the spot and I got this bad feeling the studio was looking more like an abandoned building. Not gonna front, I was a little bit shook, but there's a song I had to finish that just needed a hook. So I brushed it off and I stepped through the door. It didn't help my nerves any with that creak in the floor. I looked around, cobwebs on the wall, dirt on the floor. This wasn't like any studio I'd been in before. All of a sudden from the left I heard that voice again.
Glad you made it, Maestro. Hi, I'm Rock Dead Fred.
Turned around and saw this creepy little man in front of me, like a cross between a zombie and a mini-me wannabe. He said,
Follow me down to Studio B. I've got some tracks loaded on my MPC.
now I could follow Fred to the booth, or I could bounce now and just make up an excuse, but at the moment I just couldn't think of nothing to say, so I just turned and followed Fred down this dark hallway. It was dusty and lit with candles, and all over the walls it was pictures of all the rappers that had been there before. Now keep in mind that it's dark and I can't really see, but I could swear the eyes in the picture were following me. But when I mentioned it to Fred, he didn't even look surprised. He just said,
Don't mind them, they've got watery eyes.
I thought it was a joke, so I left it alone. Told myself I was seeing things and let the shit go. He started playing this beat where he sampled a moan. Went out the corner of my eye, I could have swore I saw a ghost. I felt a chill come over my bones, time to go. But when I went to get up, I realized I was frozen. Whoa, what the fuck is going on here, yo? Why can't I get up, and why can't I feel my toes?
Easy, Maestro, calm down, breathe slow. Do everything I tell you and I swear I'll let you go. You see, I'm a dead MC, so you've not heard of me. Some wackhead that couldn't rap pulled a gat and fucking murdered me. Guess he knew he couldn't do it verbally. So now I'm cursed to battle guys for all eternity. Details are gory, suffice to say, I'm stuck in purgatory. It's your basic allegory, and well, now you know the story. So here's how it's gonna go, a battle toe-to-toe. If you win, you're free to go, but if not, I get your soul. How's that for giving you a goal? And oh, those pics of dead rappers, you'll be joining them for show. He let me out the chair and shut the door. He didn't even touch it, ghost powers or something. It's my turn to rap, and man, I got nothing. Scared as a hooker in church, no frontin'. I really better hurry up and think of something, or else my death is gonna be the topic of discussion. Fuck it, I'm going in. Just then, heard the alarm clock ring. Woke up gasping, breathing heavy, sweat all over my skin. Relieved. This shit was just a dream. I looked at the calendar, and it was fucking Halloween. True story. Up next on the mic, please put your hands together for the spooktacular Sky Zents.
we'll start. We'll do that again.
I love the sound of the microphone. You guys want more of that?
Yeah.
Like a creaky door, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, I'm not even gonna bother with an introduction. It's close to midnight, and something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to breathe as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is thriller night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. This is thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller. So next time that comes around, you guys gotta sing with me, okay? You hear the door slam, demons closing in on every side. You feel the cold hand. Now here's the time for you and I to cuddle close together. And all the while, I'll save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is thriller night. And if there ain't no second chances from the thing with 40 eyes, girl, thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller. Night creatures crawl doing their dance as they walk in their masquerade. There's no escaping the jaws of the alien this time. No, this is the end of your life. Does anyone know the Vincent Price part? Oh no. Alright, well, if I have to, I will.
Oh, is that what you talk?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I believe it's doing like the accent all the time. I got 5 stars.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell, or rot inside a corpse's shell. I'm gonna throw you tonight. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thriller. Ooh, ooh, ooh. hour is close at hand. The funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver. For no true mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
That's what I'm talking about.
Spectacular style. Boo, that sucked. One more time. Much better. Up next on the mic. Please give it up for DD Delay.
Yes, thanks. Let me turn my phone.
Welcome. We have been expecting you. Welcome.
Hey everybody, how's everybody? Welcome to the venue on 35th Street, Screecher Sunday Halloween open mic. How's everybody feeling? Alright, I'll tell you what, instead of applaud and cheer when you're enjoying something tonight, how about some blood-curdling screams? Can we practice our blood-curdling screams? No. On the count of 3. 1, 2, I'll do it with you. 3.
Those are good.
That wasn't bad. I think we can do that. I think we can do a little bit better. Imagine the most horrifying thing you can think of. Just falling out of the ceiling and onto your shoulder. Whatever you're afraid of, whether it be spiders or snakes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. In front of your shoulder! Ah! Some scary shit right there. So we are going to have a spooktacular evening. Is everybody ready? All right. I think we'll open up the evening with Miss Spooky Kitty.
I'm going to do a 4-piece poem tonight, which some of you have heard before. I did it in the show that I just closed on Friday night. And I'll mark the scenes when I retreat up here and then come back down. 4 pieces. The first piece is called Introductory Welcome. The second piece is called The Egg. The third piece is called The Beggar and the Bishop. And the fourth piece is called Finale. Good evening from the world of the dead. Not that we are really dead. I, for instance, am not dead, nor is that one. Nor are these. In fact, it is our rather peevish notion that... Perhaps you will forgive me. We understand the peculiarity of your positions, you see, and are not uncompassionate to your various droll terrors as you fly in horror from our entertainments, which we have mounted with great pains to please, only to hear us spitefully condemned as vulgar or bizarre and even outlawed from your official reality unless properly attired in an approved suit of flesh. But, as I say, it is a rather peevish notion. Now, do not think I am being deliberately offensive, but we are often convinced that it is you and not we who are dead. I mean, if it must be one of us, and certainly it is you. But I do not mean to contend with you here in argument, but rather to mount before you still another entertainment for your pleasure. Do not be discomfited then if I come a little closer, make myself known to you as you so commonly prefer to know me. You know me then. Yes. My name is Marsoon, and I am Death. Death, you young ones, who toss in your cradles as I rock you in stormy nightmares. Death, you of middle years, who hurry onward with forward stares as I whisper fear in your footsteps. Death, you of old age, who await me with numb dread at every branch tap at your window or step on your stair. Would you know me better? Oh, come. Do not turn away from me, your final mortal lover. What do you conceive I am? A god? A demon? Hey, I am neither. Can you bear a little philosophy? Then know that Marsoon is a spirit, a messenger between the worlds, who drifts among you with the news that you, without delay, must make a journey of no return in my company, and the only message I am satisfied to take back with me in my pocket is your soul, which I contrive to loose from your stubborn flesh with this stout shears, forged to snip like cotton yarn the silver cord that grounds you in the iron box of your gravity. Now, for this service, do you commonly revile me? Which I don't mind, but my standards are internal, and your abuse serves quite well to keep me amused, making of my work a rather delightful joke. insist to die is the end of all. No life, no breath, no memory, no desire, no thing at all. And some say no, it is perpetual twilight, no brighter than a moonlit night, where the ghostly dead drift through eternity, their mournful wails like the howl of dogs, forever lamenting loss of corporeality, of taste and touch and feeling, of intoxication and of sex. And some say, "Fie, you unbelievers! It is the door to the justice hall, where the holy judge of the universe divides souls good from evil with his sword, sending some above to sweet delight, and the most of you to torment in descending realms of endless night." But take it from me, my mortal friends, who ought to know the score. Life is an egg, and you either inside wanting out, or outside wanting in. And I, Marsoon, who am death, assist you in your desire, in my own good time. There was a beggar I collected once, who lay dying in an alley between a house of ill repute and a laundromat. And though his misfortune seemed acute, dying, you know, on the street, penniless and alone like that, he lay smiling on his cold deathbed, a flock of spirits hovering round his head. And when I cut the cord of his mortality, they bore his exhausted soul to the halls of healing like a precious antique bowl. There, the service nurses washed away the shadows of his suffering, ground so deep into his soul like soot, while chanting over him for an entire millennium his original name, which called him into being when the first stars rose in the east. And another man I remember well, a high church bishop, recently retired, lay dying between silk sheets, surrounded by somber relatives and sniffling ladies with pink powdered cheeks. All bent their heads as if in prayer as he sucked his last gasps of air. I came toward him through the mists, my trusty snipping tool unsheathed. His eyes flew open, terrified. "No," he cried. His son rose from his stool, alarmed. His daughter gripped him by the arm. I hesitated, which is not my custom. But I expected a spirit or two at least attending to guide him through the breach, only none was there. And only later did I know the cause. None was requested, so none was sent. And I could no longer pause, but with a swift clip across his brow, I dispatched the bishop's soul, but never saw him leave the corpse, and could not tell where he went until I peered inside his ear and saw him cringing there like a church mouse trembling in his lair. So, I have made it my professional rule, based upon such anecdotal evidence, never to offer an opinion on who is cursed and who is blessed. As the hour draws near to midnight, your mortal frailty comes to light. You cannot keep your eyelids open. The secure identity you protect so vigilantly inside your fleshly vault dissolves like a pinch of salt in the rising tide of sleep. You cannot, for all your cleverness, hold back. It is a rehearsal for your opening night performance, when you dance away with me in the grand finale of your life, and all the strangers' faces and unfamiliar places that infiltrate your dreams turn out to be your neighbors in our universal hometown scheme. Will you lie down every night with my little sister Sleep, yet refuse to call me friend, who rescues you from the clammy mists of constant sorrow? Oh, how rude. If I may borrow a word from your book of etiquette. But there is no turning back, no way to avoid my kiss. Outraged though you may be, vowing to fight me furiously, consider the option I offer you, to surrender with grace and dignity and soar with me in bliss.
Okay, so I have no poetry. Isn't that amazing?
No. Yeah. Yes.
How about I come to y'all tonight with reality? First, I want to talk to you about this little 5-year-old girl named Kathy. So Kathy's rambunctious, typical little 5-year-old tomboyish kid. You know, y'all might know her as Sexy Kitty. But every summer she visits her grandmother in Wilson, North Carolina, the same grandmother that raised her until she was 4 years old. And this particular summer she goes to choir rehearsal with her grandmother, and her grandmother keeps telling her that she's a seer. Now she's only 5 and she has no idea what a seer is. You know, she just knows that she sees things differently than other people, and she sees things that other people don't see. But that's cool too. So we're going to choir rehearsal, and we're coming home from choir rehearsal, and my grandmother opens the door and she's terrified. I'm not looking because I'm sleepy. I've got my head buried in her shoulder. She's carrying me. And she continues to carry me to my bed, where I had to open my eyes. And no shit, there were mice everywhere. Can you imagine the terror I felt? And I mean, God, they were jumping on the bed. They were all over the floor. And what had happened, the next door neighbors had to tear down the shed that they had, where they had snakes and mice. And of course, that was priceless. But the mice had, of course, dispersed out through the neighborhood. But later on that same summer, I also got to spend weekends or weeks or 1 week a summer with my great-grandmother, who was my grandfather's mother. Now, my grandmother, my mother's mother, was white. My grandfather's mother was black. And they were, no shit, like day and night. So my Maddie lived in Selma, North Carolina, and still the typical rambunctious, tomboyish, What else can I say about me? You know, hard-headed. She told me, stay out of the fields. There was this beautiful tobacco field behind her house. It was just tall, green, pretty leaves, and you could run through it, and the soil always felt like it was freshly tilled, so you left footprints, and you could run and make your own maze and follow your footsteps back to the house, and it was fun. Well, this particular day, my cousins from DC had come to join us for this particular week, and she told us, Kathy, Arnie, Andy, stay out of the fields. Beyond the tobacco field was a cornfield. Of course, the stalks are a little taller. Pretty yellow tops. Beautiful. Did I mention I was hard-headed? So, we're going through the tobacco field. I taught them about my little game of making the mazes, and we following our footsteps back. And as I'm following my footsteps, I noticed one of my cousin's footsteps going in the wrong direction. He's going into the cornfield. So I call Andy, and I'm like, hey, we got to go get Arnie. He's in the cornfield. And he says, I'm not going in the cornfield. Mom Maddie said, don't go in the cornfield. She said, well, Mom Maddie told us not to go in the tobacco field, and we're here. We're going in the cornfield. So we venture off into the cornfield, and I see the back of Arnie, and he's like, my cousin didn't fear anything. So to see him terrorized like that, I instantly was scared. I didn't want to go any further. And it was like, we've come this far, we might as well keep going. Like I said, all of this is true shit. So we go further into the field, and there's this car. Did I mention that we had a cousin that was missing for 2 weeks? We found the car. My other rambunctious, didn't want to be hard-headed, but was hard-headed cousin picks up a rock and throws it in the window. We found my cousin. Yeah. Can you imagine why I'm so fucked up in the brain now? Y'all supposed to sit? Okay, scream or something. All right, on to some lighter stuff. All right. Oh, that one was cute. Okay, this one, I was actually 25 years old. Still hard-headed and rambunctious and tomboyish and doing things we weren't supposed to do. It was Halloween. And I was drunk as a skunk, and the idea was presented to me to go to the cemeteries and have fun. So we go out to Deep Creek, which is already scary. And we walk down this long road. I've got on the cutest boots ever. Okay, I mean, ever. And I have on the sexiest denim skirt ever, because it's a mini. I was like smaller back then, but I was like rocking that skirt and those boots. So I'm Miss Billy Badass. I'm walking all the way down the road to the cemetery. Get all the way to the cemetery, and I'm looking at them like it's nothing. It's just a cemetery. Oh, my grandfather was a mortician, so. None of that fazed me. So I'm turning my back on the cemetery, and I'm looking at these 6 guys that my sister and I are with, and they all look pale as sheets. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? It's just a cemetery. And they're like, Kitty, you need to move. And I'm like, for what? There's not shit out here. It's a cemetery. Everybody's dead. And all of a sudden, I felt like I could not breathe. I was enveloped in this white cloud. No shit. And I could not breathe for a solid 30 seconds. But I guarantee you, I got back to the car before anybody else.
The most frightening times are the times that you're pretty sure you're alone, and then something happens and you realize that Maybe there's just things you don't see. And both of these are things that could happen. Tragedy on Route 17. There was a killer in her car. In the front seat, a stowaway. Her heartbeat screamed into her chest. She felt compelled to keep driving on the dark, long country road. Behind the glare of headlights, variations played in her mind, blood-pounding drum beats in her ears. There were no lights, not a movement in any of the cottages past. Besides, wherever would she run? Could she possibly get away? He was close in proximity. He was so near that he would strike before the doors even unlocked. Escape? No longer an option. Breaking out in a damp, cold sweat, white-knuckled fear gripping the wheel. Her breath quickened in his presence, envisioning with her mind's eye death's display, at rest in a white dress. She thought then of her family, the misery to engulf them, harsh realities if she died. Just in view, using side vision, she could clearly see the killer. Her keen ears heard his seething breath as her right foot pressed hard on the gas. The dark magic of the night mocked her, locking her in a steel prison with this reaper, thoughtless in care. To his victim, humming madly. His weapon, piercing and poisonous, could deliver much suffering. Knowing the horrors he could bring, wreaked havoc on her small bladder and knotted her sensitive bowels. She could not help holding her breath. Would loved ones cope through her demise? Then, sweet relief from hyped agony. Worst strike done. The mosquito bit her. This is called Mirrored Storm. It's a short story. The lightning flashed the sky a brilliant white, illuminating the small figure straining in the gusting wind. The frail body, deciding to fight no more, dropped to the ground in a huddled lump of quivering rags. You strained your eyes, willing them to serve you better in the storm, as the terrain drew dark again. Ceasing to move forward, feet rooted to the rain-soaked ground beneath them, you listened, vainly trying to sort out sounds of the night and the gale from any sound that came from the unkempt mass in the yard. Unable to discern, your face twisted in a sneer of frustration and disgust. Eyes wildly darting around the entire grounds, grasped in a squall. You jumped when in a burst of lightning, your own expression was reflected in a window pane. Relieved beyond imagination at the gift of light, brief though it was, you trudged through the mud and clay towards the unmoved foreigner. Upon closer inspection, as the distance closed, it could pass for a wayward child, small and frightened. Pity flooded forth towards the trespasser that you came out to evict. Striding nearer, you peered into the pile of soaked and tattered cloth, circling it, much like a predator toying with its prey. Speaking with a loud voice, accusing, you stood before the apparent front of the creature with hands on your hips in a most overbearing vision. You demanded to know why it was there and instructed it to move on to wherever it belonged. Leaning forward, you punctuated with a show of territoriality, trying to stare down the filthy intruder. Then you noticed. You were staring into the makeshift hood of one possessing eyes most familiar. Drawing forward in disbelief, trying to clarify and denounce the first glimpse of those eyes, your jaw dropped and silently stammered. Cowering back in fear and confusion, you were wholly unable to tear yourself from the vision. Recovering from the shock, you regained the power to scan across the features of this disfigured and degraded creature. Your heart stilled, forgetting its rhythm, and your blood seemed to run with ice, panning over the rigidly scarred face, worn with time. Detected was a subtle softness of smooth skin, which once graced the body of this unfortunate. It continued to stare back, well aware of the realization you had experienced. Yet those eyes appeared to be waiting for more truth. It knew something, a secret, and was waiting for you to discover the key. A moment or two went by before the next wave of awareness washed over you, much to your dismay. More than just the eyes and cheek were recognized. Swimming your gaze over the figure again, noting several features known by heart, but could not quite place to whom they belonged. It occurred to you that once upon a time, you may have known this poor soul. Reaching out timidly, you thought, at the very least, it your duty to offer assistance to this waif life, half-starved life. Instead of accepting your charity, and willingly and gratefully, the creature snatched back its hand and emitted a snarl-like sound. Thoroughly put out at having your offer refused so rudely, you raised your hand in disgust, aiming to strike the ingrate. A shriveled arm reached high in self-defense as it knew your intent, causing your eye to flit to the glimmer flashing on the middle finger of the gnarled fist. Wailing in despair, reality invaded your being, and you knew. You knew that ring. Trembling, you remembered every minute detail of this miserable being, intimate with every thought, every emotion, and every physical feature of this bent and broken soul, like the back of your own hand, certain of these things beyond a doubt. Dropping to your knees, you wreathed in agony, gripping the glimmering ring on your own middle finger. As your hands clasped together, they folded around the twisted and gnarled digits of your future self. The identical rings, fusing in a bright flash of blinding light, shattering the darkness, uniting the duality, and flooding your life with perspective.
Y'all didn't get to see her face. She was looking at the wall. That was priceless. One more time for Spooky Kitty.
Yeah.
You guys forgot the rules.
Yes.
Just for tonight, when you hear something you like, instead of applauding and cheering, what do we do? Scream. Exactly. Up next on the mic, please give a frighteningly round of applause for Ralph. Up next, please put your hands together for James Wolfsbane.
Ralph isn't here today. I'm Mia.
Hi, Mia.
Oh, you're Leah.
Mia. Mia Wallace. Miss Mia Wallace.
Yes.
Before you get started, although people have long espoused the virtues of reading often and reading variety, there is an inherent danger Although the reader might have some idea what they are opening, there is no knowing what thoughts are lurking on the yellowed page. Once the concept has been read, it lands upon the fertile matter of the brain and cannot be unknown. Proceed with caution. This one is called The Breaking Only Hurts a Little. Exhaling yesterday's dusty ways, I ground myself and bleed. Leaning over kitchen sink, I peeled the skin from the meat, and I sang an Amazon song. When I tried to eat, I choked. No butcher's meat for me this holy night. Life feeds on life, and I intend to live now. My body won't accept dead flesh, not tonight. Strange magic in the air, and I dine on a mother's milk. Life, giving of itself in that ancient tradition. Somehow only women are capable, and not through any great accomplishment on their part. On this eve of a humid new spring, before the air throbs with sexy electricity, I drink the milk of a stranger's teat, bleed without need of healing, for all intents and purposes, feeling like a woman awake at last. And then this one is called So I Was Pumped Full of Anesthesia Last Wednesday. I suppose I should backtrack to say that doctors, dentists, or friends in long white lab coats fill me with romance and anticipation. I squirm, although there's no chance I'd ever try to escape. So I'm laid out on the examination slab all goosey. He was standing before a spotlight. Will there be an interrogation today, doctor? With his noises summoning tricks and tools as I began to drift into my oblivion. He pulled on his rubber gloves, and I heard that snap, so efficient. Somehow the gas prevented me from smothering the giggle in my throat. Before I knew it, I was nearly hysterical from the little sound, and the whole spectrum of happenings it symbolizes for me. The good doctor was perplexed and wanted to know what had put me into such a fit as I floated over the table. I imagined telling him about so many delicious scenes and private innuendos. Alas, the only answer that seemed halfway acceptable was to refer him to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He then regaled us all with an epic fable about dressing up to see the movie with fraternity brothers back in the 70s. The last thing I saw was my straight-laced doctor, dressed as magenta, as I drifted into the cool fog of unconsciousness.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm not sorry at all, actually. Loves you, right? Mia. All right, up next on the mic, please let's hear it for little sister, Mia.
I'm gonna be reading something that's not mine tonight. A cento poem is comes from the Latin word that described I'm good with that. A cento poem is a poem that is, the word comes from, a cento cloth is what a Roman soldier used to wear over his armor, and what it is woven pieces of old garments patched together. And this is 3 different authors. If anyone's familiar with System of a Down, anybody? Yeah! The Mars Volta, and everyone's seen Carrie. I always wanted to know how they got Carrie on stage to do that. Why would she go up there? But the reason being is because she fell for a guy who said a poem in class. So I'll piece those 3 things together right now. Conversion, software version 7.0. Looking through life at the eyes of a tired hub. Eating seeds is the pastime activity, the toxicity of our cities, of our city. Now, what do you own? The world? How do you own disorder? Disorder. Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep, disorder, disorder, disorder. More wood for the fire's loud neighbors. Flashlight revelries caught in the headlights of a truck. Eating seeds is a pastime activity, the toxicity of our city. This is your history. You made what you will be. Facts are of no concern, they upset your story. The past is what we learn, it upholds your glory. Revisionist history, revisionist history. I want glaciers to scrape. I want to level this place. Everyone in it can go. The truth will tear this ground. Slowly melt it down. Revisionist history, revisionist history. I want glaciers to scrape. I want to level this place. Everyone in it can go. What we're taught, free to forget. You're supposed to know. Learn on your own. It's exposed in moraine. Funnel down, see with your own eyes. Simple talk in moraine. Simple thought and total loyalty. The past is what we learn. It upholds your glory. Revisionist history. They'll build armies and excuse for explorers. Know with your own eyes. Feel with your own hands. What are you going to leave for us? You people in your cars, spewing pollution into the air. You people with heavy feet, trampling down the wilderness. You people who peer into the back seats of our cars hours after you come out the back doors of your own motels. Soon, all we will have is each other, and that could be enough if you will let us have room enough and air enough and peace enough to love each other as you never could. Thank you.
George made me do this, and I had no idea I was going to do this, so I haven't even really read this whole thing yet. I really don't. This is going to be a surprise to me, too. I've never heard this story before. So, it's actually a poem. It's a zombie poem. And the title is Zombie. Yeah, that's Alright. I remember it clearly, the day that it started, the ghastly return of our deadly departed, a morbid reminder of something forgotten, dead and diminished, now living and rotten. I'd settled right down for a night on the porch, a bottle of whiskey, the light of my torch. The evening was pleasant, the weather was fair. I whistled a tune as I sat in my chair. Leaning right back, I admired the land, the farm I created, the work of my hand. I watched as my animals do what they do, when something disturbing then came into view. A girl in the distance staggered on, looking as though all her senses were gone. Tattered appearance, let it be told, she couldn't have been more than 20 years old. I called to the girl, but she didn't react, then wondered if maybe she had just been attacked. I ran to her aid, a fateful mistake. Thank goodness my instinct to pick up a rake. The moment I reached her, I'll never forget. A moment in life I will always regret. My heart sank in terror like never before. It shook me right down to my very own core. Covered in blood from her feet to her face, skin peeling off from all over the place. Her skin was so pale she looked very ill, a look in her eyes like she wanted to kill. I took a step closer, she lunged for my arm. I dived out of the way to avoid any harm. She wasn't quite normal, that's saying the least. She lunged once again like a menacing beast. This time she grabbed me, I swung her around. We both toppled over and fell on the ground. My rake at the ready, I pushed her aside, then slashed her face open, now gaping and wide. The blood was pouring, she couldn't survive. It just kept on coming. Was this girl alive? But this didn't stop her. Onward she came. What was this madness, and who was to blame? I ran to my house. I was so out of breath. My will to survive was preventing my death. I loaded my shotgun, 2 barrels full, then charged from the house with the force of a bull. I blasted the girl, almost square in the chest. Blood and some other stuff dropped from her vest. Like nothing had happened, like air to a wall, she kept coming at her pace as if nothing at all. I aimed once again to the front of her head, then blasted her brains out all over the shed. I ducked to the floor and avoided the splatter, but everything else was encased in brain matter. She stood for a moment, dropped to her knees, then wobbled a bit, like the wind in the trees, then dropped to her front with a violent thud. The blood mixing with the the blood mixing in with the grass and the mud. I stood and I watched her for maybe an hour. The smell of her body was rather quite sour. A moment in life I will never forget. To kill that poor girl, my only regret. And that was the first time I saw one of these. Now commonly known, I believe, as zombies. So maybe it's true what all the preachers tell. The dead walk the earth when there's no room in hell.
Here.
This is not a good idea. This is really not a good idea. Oh, yeah. I still know what's coming right now. That is creepy as hell.
Zombie haiku number 1. You are so lucky. I'm slow and can't remember how to use doorknobs. Zombie haiku number 2. Eating brains is hard. The skull is tough to get through. I am so hungry. Zombie haiku number 3. Post-mortem movement. Rigor mortis restricts speed. Could my food slow down? Next on stage, please put your hands together for CJ Expression. So has everyone had a spectacular evening? Excellent. So we've reached the end of our spooky night.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I'd close with my favorite Halloween/Christmas story, A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yay!
I don't know how many of you know this, but the original story, Nightmare Before Christmas, it was actually originally a poem by Tim Burton that he wrote while he was in college. And Disney caught wind of it. Fast forward, classic movie.
Are you gonna show us the pictures?
Sure, I'll show you guys the pictures.
You're gonna send it to her to us.
That's how you do it in the library.
I'm sure. You're gonna read us a story. You have to do it right.
Right?
Can I get some volume on the on that mic, please? We'll do that.
Ooh, this is so awesome.
And a little bit of light over on this corner.
Story time.
Story time. Yeah, everybody scoot in. Come on in, everybody. All right. It was late one fall in Halloween land, and the air had quite a chill. Against the moon a skeleton sat, alone upon a hill. He was tall and thin with a bat bow tie. Skeleton Jack was his name. He was tired and bored of Halloween land. Everything was always the same. I'm sick of the scaring, the terror and fright. I'm tired of being something that goes bump in the night. I'm bored with leering my horrible glances, and my feet are hurt from dancing skeleton dances. I don't like graveyards, I need something new. There must be more to life than just yelling boo.
Show it around, show it around, show it around.
Then out from the grave with a curl and a twist came a whimpering, whining, spectral mist. It was a little ghost dog with a faint little bark and a jack-o'-lantern nose that glowed in the dark. It was Jack's dog Zero, best friend he had, but Jack hardly noticed, which made Zero sad. See Zero, guys? All the night and through the next day, Jack wandered and walked as he was filled with dismay. Then deep in the forest, just before night, Jack came upon an amazing sight. Not 20 feet from the spot where he stood were 3 massive doorways, all carved in wood. He stood before them completely in awe, his gaze transfixed by one special door. Entranced and excited with a slight sense of worry, Jack opened the door to a white windy flurry that looked like this. It's a hell of a windy flurry right there. Incidentally, these are all Tim Burton's actual sketches from the storyboarding of the film. Jack didn't know it, but he'd fallen down in the middle of a place called Christmas Town. Immersed in the light, Jack was no longer haunted. He had finally found the feeling he wanted. And so that his friends wouldn't think him a liar, he took the present-filled stockings that hung by the fire. He took candy and toys that were stacked to the shelves and a picture of Santa with all of his elves. He took lights and ornaments and a star from the tree. And from the Christmas Town sign, he took the big letter C. He picked up everything that sparkled or glowed. He even picked up a handful of snow. He grabbed it all, and without being seen, he took it all back to Halloween. Back in Halloween, a group of Jack's peers stared in amazement at his Christmas souvenirs. For this wondrous vision, none were prepared. Most were excited, though a few were quite scared. For the next few days, while it lightning and thundered, Jack sat alone and obsessively wondered, why is it they get to spread laughter and cheer while we stalk all the graveyards spreading panic and fear? Well, I could be Santa, I could spread cheer. Why does he get to do it year after year? Outraged by injustice, Jack thought and he thought, then he got an idea. Yes, why not? In Christmas Town, Santa was making some toys, while through the din he heard a sweet soft noise. He answered the door, and to his surprise he saw 3 weird little creatures in strange disguise. They were altogether ugly and rather petite as they opened their sacks and yelled, "Trick or treat!" Then a confused Santa was shoved in a sack and taken to Halloween to see Mastermind Jack. In Halloween, everyone gathered once more, for they'd never seen Santa before. And as they cautiously gazed at this strange old man, Jack related to Santa his masterful plan. "Dear Mr. Claus, I think it's a crime, but you've got to be Santa all of the time. But now I will give presents and I will spread cheer. We're changing places, I'm Santa this year. It is I who will say Merry Christmas to you, so you may lie in my coffin, creak doors and yell boo. And please, Mr. Claus, don't think ill of my plan, for I'll be the very best Santa I can. And though Jack and his friends thought they'd do a good job, their idea of Christmas was still quite macabre. They were packed up and ready on Christmas Eve day when Jack hitched his reindeer to his sleek coffin sleigh. But on Christmas Eve, as they were about to begin, a Halloween fog slowly rolled in. Jack said, "We can't leave, the fog's just too thick. There will be no Christmas, and I can't be Saint Nick." Then a small glowing light pierced through the fog. What could it be? It was Zero, Jack's dog. Jack said, "Zero, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" And to not be so needed was Zero's great dream, and to be so needed was Zero's great dream. So he joyously flew to the head of the team, and as the skeletal sleigh started its ghostly flight, Jack cackled, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Says skeleton reindeer. Those are my favorite. 'Twas the nightmare before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was peaceful, not even a mouse. The stockings all hung by the chimney with care, when opened that morning would cause quite a scare. The children all nestled so snug in their beds would have nightmares of monsters and skeleton heads. The moon that hung over the new fallen snow cast an eerie pall all over the city below, and Santa Claus's laughter now sounded like groans, and the jingling bells like chattering bones. And what to do with the wondering eyes should appear but a coffin sleigh and skeleton deer. A skeletal driver so ugly and sick, they knew in a moment this can't be Saint Nick. From house to house with true sense of joy, Jack happily issued each present and toy. From rooftop to rooftop he jumped and he skipped, leaving presents that seemed to be straight from a crypt. Unaware that the world was in a panic and fear, Jack merrily spread his own brand of cheer. He visited the house of Susie and Dave. They got a Gumby and Pokey right from the grave. Then on the home of little Jean Neiman, she got a baby doll possessed by a demon. A monstrous train with tentacle tracks, a ghoulish puppet wielding an axe, a man-eating plant disguised as a wreath, and a vampire teddy bear with very sharp teeth. There were screams of terror, but Jack didn't hear it. He was much too involved in his own Christmas spirit. Jack finally looked down from his dark, starry frights and saw the commotion, the noise, and the lights. Why, they're celebrating. It looks like such fun. They're thanking me for the good job I've done. But what he thought were fireworks meant as goodwill were bullets and missiles intended to kill. And amidst the barrage of artillery fire, Jack urged Zero to go higher and higher, and away they all flew like a storm of a thistle until they were hit by a well-guided missile. And as they fell on the cemetery way out of sight, was heard Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Jack pulled himself up on a large stone cross, and from there he reviewed his incredible loss. I thought I could be Santa, I had such belief. Jack was confused and filled with great grief. Not knowing where to turn, he looked toward the sky, then he slumped on the grave and he started to cry. And as Zero and Jack lay crumpled on the ground, they suddenly heard a familiar sound. "My dear Jack," said Santa, "I applaud your intent. I know wreaking such havoc was not what you meant. And so you are sad and feeling quite blue, but taking over Christmas was the wrong thing to do. I hope you realize Halloween's the right place for you. There's a lot more, Jack, that I'd like to say, but for now I must hurry and save Christmas Day." Then he jumped in his sleigh with a wink of an eye. He said Merry Christmas, and he bid them goodbye. Back home, Jack was sad, but then, like a dream, Santa brought Christmas to the land of Halloween. The end. All right, kiddies, did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Have a very happy Halloween. Make sure your parents check your candy before you eat it. Take a flashlight. when you go out there trick-or-treating? See, trick-or-treating, does that even happen anymore?
Yeah.
I had the most, I remember like when I was a kid, literally hundreds of children in costumes mobbing the neighborhood. Cars had trouble driving down the streets. Now it's just like, they're all in the mall. And it's whack.
They cut it off at a certain time.
Yeah, what kind
Also, people trick or treat in cars.
In cars?
Yeah, they like ride around. Okay, how about the car go?
Really?
Yeah, it takes the
People
fun
do
out of
that?
it.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's
Yeah, that's the point. You have to walk.
Yeah.
If you don't walk, it defeats the purpose.
Like the opening scene of E.T., man, with all the kids.
Yes.
That's what's important. All right, well,
That's what I'm
happy
talking about.
Halloween, all. Good night.
He said he'd wait by the gate, so forever I, Elizabeth, will walk. Awaiting my fate. He said he'd wait by the gate. And then, with his testimony, sealed my fate. I, Elizabeth, was locked away, accused of playing the witch's way. Be careful what you say. The cauldron bubbles and boils and shakes. The black cat cringes at what the hag makes. The incantation, more wicked than death, is uttered by the witch's evil breath. A wart-covered hand stirs the moiling brew. Added are scale of dragon and foot of shrew. The fire beneath burns with hellish flame, as if to warn the victim it will claim. With all the evil of the nether world, the smoke begins to waver and swirl. At last the potion is nearly complete. One last line the sorceress must repeat. One full of hate, blackness, and evil doing. Peace will he forever be pursuing, always wandering in search of another. Such is the spell of the jilted lover. There's always a price to pay. Here above in the gray stone tower, waiting as the watchman sings late hours, eyes cast aloft to darkening skies, but my mind drifts to those beneath in disguise, scattered amidst the town below, walking among the peasants who simply don't know. Stepping nearer, keen of my holding place, they hearken to me and quicken their pace. Come up the winding stairway, treat the guards to their final day. Grasp the lock and twist the key, come and set your lady free. The bar is lifted, and they rush in, so innocent are they to their sin. Unbinding me, they cheer in ignorant bliss. Tonight I fly, rewarding them with death's kiss.
Werewolf haiku. Tonight the moon's full. I'm gonna need a haircut. Fuck silver bullets. Frankenstein haiku. Pitchforks and torches. The villagers want my head. Damn bolts in my neck. Zombie romance haiku. This one's actually a true story. I need to give you all the face for this one. Been dating this girl. Said she loves me for my brain. Must be a zombie. Good job. Next on our Halloween stage, please put your hands together for the creepy John Barlow.